It is I, John Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, coming to you today live from an undisclosed location somewhere close to Gotham City for you numbnuts in the National Security Agency, where I would like to relate a personal story of mine and how it relates to this incredible act by Miley Cyrus at the VMA Awards, and how this does indeed show the decline of our society, as people like me have been talking about for quite some time. So first, let me preface this by telling you what happened to your favorite less than humble correspondent. Now, I have a 14-year-old daughter with attention deficit disorder. She takes Strattera. She is a very bright, but she is a very mouthy little girl. And the thing here is that this girl has been picking up the F-bomb from our worthless public schools. We have tried and tried and tried to tell her not to use that word. We're trying to bring our daughter up right, but it is an uphill struggle with society the way that it is today. Now, she has used this word repeatedly, flipped us off, all this stuff, because she has attention deficit disorder. But outside of that, if she's out in society with everybody around her, she is a very loving and giving and caring child. Everybody in our little community knows who she is. Now, with that being said, we have tried everything to get her to stop using the F-bomb. We have taken the computer away from her. We put her in a room. I washed her mouth out with soap once. Just once. Okay? I've spanked her on her little bottom. That's right, and I can count the times I've done that on one hand, probably over a 2-year period when this heinous thing started. And as far as I'm concerned, it started when she got in the worthless public school system. Now, what does this have to do with this Miley Cyrus thing? Well, I'll get on to that in a minute, but let me tell you what happened. Our principal at this local high school noticed a little bruise when my daughter called her mother a effing bitch when they were having an argument over her doing her homework. And my wife gave her a slap right on her foul mouth, and it caused a little welt right there. She called my wife a effing bitch, and my wife slapped her. As well she should have. We have tried and tried and tried to get her not to say that, and nothing works. And then she gets all mad and calls my wife an effing bitch. And my wife slapped her. Well, she went to the worthless public school system, and the principal of this school saw that little slight welt and called her in for a Guantanamo Bay-style interrogation. And what happens next? I've got Children's Services knocking on my door yesterday, wanting to know if my wife was hitting my daughter. She didn't hit her, she slapped her. But what this comes down to is, here is these people, acting like God Almighty and deciding that we are abusing our daughter. That's exactly what this is. You can say it any way you want to. The implication is that we are abusing our daughter, which is about as far from the truth as you can get. What's even more incredible about this is we go to IEP meetings, that's individual education plans, with the same person that turned us into Children's Services. They know we love our daughter. They know we are trying to do the very best for our daughter. Our daughter is in the high school band. Our daughter plays volleyball, even though she's only 4'2". We go to all the games. We support her. We do everything we can to make this child's life as happy as possible, and it shows. She hugs the principal of the school. She high-fives all the teachers. She's loved by everybody in the high school and everybody in the village that I live in. It's unbelievable to think that these educators, after one little welt, would turn us into Children's Services, considering the fact that most children that are abused don't act like that. These are the educators. These are the numbnuts that are educating our children, and they don't seem to understand the basic concept of human psychology. But fortunately for these, they're the educators. Well, I took 2 years of psychology in college when I was a journalism major, and I know for a fact that children that are abused don't act like my daughter around other human beings. And these people are the educators. These are the idiots that are educating our children. It's absolutely incredible that this goes on. And now that brings me to Miley Cyrus. Now think about Miley Cyrus and that porno show that was the VMA Awards. I watched it. I was shocked. I was appalled. A lot of people seem to be shocked and appalled. So how does this happen? How does this happen? And who's to blame for it? Well, I'm going to explain to you who's to blame for it and why it does happen. Now remember, the VMA Awards, what demographic watches this? 14-year-olds, the exact same names as my daughter. Well, I won't let 14-year-olds, girls, boys, watch VMA Awards because I know of the graphic sexual content. Once again, here's me trying to be a good parent. And so you have the 14-year-olds, 13, 12, 10, 8 years old. These are young children that are watching the VMA Awards. And there's Miley Cyrus' sex show right there for millions of them to see. Now, who is responsible for this? Well, I'll tell you who's responsible for this. Our worthless president and his administration is responsible for this. And I will prove it to you. Now, you see Miley Cyrus up there grinding on this singer and all this stuff. Think about this. What age is it now that you can go into a grocery store and buy the morning after pill if you're a 14-year-old girl? Well, that would be Obama. Obama says that it's okay that if you're 14 years old, you can walk into a grocery store. You're a girl, of course. Well, I don't know if some guys do it. These are Democrats, after all. That these 14-year-old girls can go in and get the morning after pill. It's his administration that allows this to go on. So I'm sure you can get the correlation. You figure it out. 14-year-olds buy the morning after pill. Miley Cyrus. Yes, you see what I'm talking about? And then these are the same people that when the tragic shootings of Sandy Hook happened, they said that it was the guns. The guns did it. There wasn't any talk about violence in video games or mental disorders. The guns did it. And of course, this did nothing but promote the liberal Democrats and their anti-gun agenda. But sadly, somebody would have had to pull the trigger of that gun. And you know who it was? It was a mentally disturbed child that was taken out of the public schools and stuck in their mother's basements and did nothing but watch Grand Theft Auto. You ever seen Grand Theft Auto? What word is it that they use constantly in that video game? The F-bomb! Now it all ties together. If you can't draw logical conclusions out of this, you are either an idiot or a Democrat. And that's just the sad truth of the matter. Think about this. When you think about people like me talking about the collapse of our society, right there it is in the VMA Awards. And that's just one thing. Go back about a few days later and look what happened in that town in Oklahoma. A couple black kids, yes, this on the 50th anniversary of the I Got a Dream speech. Two black kids didn't have anything better to do, so they go out and shoot a white guy and kill him. And what do they say? Well, we were just bored. And you are going to tell me again that it was the guns that did it? It was the people that did it, the two African-American children that were born and killed a white guy. Then there's the 88-year-old World War II veteran that was beaten to death by, once again, two black kids. And you're going to tell me that our society isn't crumbling around our ears when you see this kind of nonsense go on? Now think about it. Morning after pills, video games, Miley Cyrus, sex shows. It's absolutely incredible when you see the decline of our society, and everybody says that it's the gun's fault or it's somebody else's fault. But it really is Obama's fault. Remember, he is the guy that told us, well, he did tell us, I guess, but he told these worthless children that they are indeed children until they're 26 years old. 26 years old, in Obama's eyes, you're still a child. So what do? Well, they all drop out of society, go into their mother's or grandmother's basements, and guess what they do? They play video games. That's what they do. Because in Obama's eyes, they're children. Do you get the drift here? Because it is obvious as the nose on your face that these are the reasons of the collapse of our society, and these damn liberal Democrats are responsible for it. But that's the bad news. The good news is that there may have been a tipping point. We may have reached, finally reached the tipping point where people are beginning to say, after Miley Cyrus, that enough is enough. So in a strange way, Miley Cyrus and her sex show may have done us all a favor, because people are beginning to get the drift when we talk about the moral decay of our country. There it is right there on the VMA Awards. And then you couple that with the shootings and the beatings, you get the damn drift. So, with that being said, how do we fix it? Well, it's obvious we need to tone down the violence and the sex in movies and video games, for one thing. And then we need to do this. We need to get these damn educators and make sure they know what they're doing. The guy that did this to me and my daughter and my wife is a principal of a school, and doesn't even understand basic human psychology, that a abused child does not act the way that my daughter does around other human beings. And these are the brightest. These are the socialists that are running this country now. And so they sick the Children's Services Gestapo on me. And considering everything that we've seen from Miley Cyrus, my wife should get a medal for being a good citizen and trying to do the right thing to bring up our daughter in this effed up society that Obama and the damn Democrats have created. Until next time, this is your favorite conservative, Jordan Reagan, saying this to you now. I heard the other day on the Clear Channel station where I listen to Rush Limbaugh that the iHeartRadio Music Festival is coming up, and guess who's going to be there? Miley Cyrus. Yeah, they advertise that right on the radio, and I'm sitting there, that's great, you know. Now we'll get to see her at the iHeartRadio festival. God knows what she'll do there. She'll probably take off her clothes. But I got an idea. What she could do is she could grind on her father, Billy Ray Cyrus. Boy, I feel sorry for that guy. And then Billy Ray Cyrus can grind on another music whack that's going to be there, and that would be Elton John, for all the good it would do him. Then you can have Elton John grind on somebody else, and then just grind all over the place and grind on each other. It will be the sex show of the decade, or a preview of the 2016 Democratic National Convention. Until next time, I say this now, over and out!